Welcome to Sharing My Truth with Mel and Susie, the uncensored version, where we bear it all.
We do.
And hello, everyone, and welcome back to Sharing My Truth Pod. We're getting very ASMR in this. We're going to whisper today. Should eat a pickle. I'm just kidding. We're not going to whisper. That'd be so hard for us because we're yellers. Don't find us in a crowd. Hello everyone and welcome back. Thank you so much for tuning in to us today. You're listening to Mel and Susie, and you guys can find us at Share My Truth Pod on all of our socials. You guys can watch this, on YouTube and see us everywhere: Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, anywhere else. I think that's
YouTube's.
Yeah, I said that.
I
think that's it.
Instagram.
Did okay. And you can go to sharemytruth.com if you would like to share your own truths with us. Send us an email, send us a voicemail. We'd love to hear from you. Hey, babes.
Hello, darling.
How are you?
Fabulous.
Oh my God, so good. We're feeling a little fresh, feeling a little fabulous. We haven't even had a glass of wine yet.
I know.
Super impressed with us, to be honest.
It's very impressive.
Yeah, no, it's feeling good. We're bearing this cold weather together, which feels good. Because Mel and I, people don't realize this, Mel and I spend a lot of our days together and a lot of our time texting each other. And, you know, I was away for a little while in the Bahamas. And she was also away at her little house.
I was.
All the way in wherever the hell that is. And so yeah, I'm just cherishing this time we have together. And she's leaving again this week and I'm leaving next week.
Oh no.
Busy little girls.
I know. Busy.
I'm trying to just keep busy in the winter so I don't have to think about the winter. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I do detest it, but you know, we've talked about that ad nauseum. So
yes, and hopefully you guys are also going on some vacays of some sort.
I hope everyone is going somewhere in February.
Brutal. It's brutal everywhere, right? Like it's crazy. Like I've been in Toronto for over 9 years now. So not yet a decade, but close to it. And I don't believe it's ever been this cold outside. Really? I swear to God, because I'm from a little town called Alberta, Edmonton, Alberta.
Yeah.
And
it's real cold.
Freezing. Yeah. This is almost that, I swear.
Really?
Maybe I'm being dramatic.
Holy
This
shit.
feels like that. It's freezing. I've never had to put my dog in so many sweaters. I will just say that.
Do you know, I feel I'm making you British because Brits talk about the weather all the time. They don't talk about the weather here. We start every conversation talking about the weather, which is ridiculous.
But weather is the same in
It's just
England.
boring. It just rains. So it's like, but we talk about it incessantly. I think we're willing it to be good.
That's nice.
So I've made you British.
I'm also willing it to be fresh and good.
Okay, well, good luck with that
one. And bar mitzvah to you.
Yeah.
And we're talking about today.
Yes.
We're talking about a little thing called the length of sex.
And that's SXX for TikTok.
Oh,
you can't say sex.
We're talking a little bit about a thing called the length of sex and how long sex should be.
Yes, because somebody asked us this question, and it's an excellent question.
Of course it is.
And I also saw an article about it. And people talk a lot about how much they should be having it, and it's not enough. But they don't actually talk about what they should be doing.
Like how long the actual sessions.
The sesh.
Should be.
Right.
It's a great question. I'll let you go first, Mel. Why don't you go first?
Thank you.
Of course.
I'd say, and according apparently to this article in 𝐥𝐤𝐤𝐤 magazine,
source, darling,
great, it's quite short for most people. I think,
which is the average time.
Yeah, so the average
like
time,
7:13.
I think was what most people want,
minutes.
17:13 to 17 to 13 minutes. So the short answer to this, and as we know, I'm not very good at short answers, is I think you should vary it.
Great.
You should have some quickies in a cupboard if you like. Sorry, we did another episode where we were talking about stationary cupboards. So it's in my mind.
Yeah.
And you should have one where it's more
when you have
lengthy,
the time.
When you have the time. Obviously, particularly if you have children, it's extremely tricky.
I would assume so.
And I think, and children of all ages, people assume it's just young children, but it's still difficult because kids,
teenagers need shit all the time, I'm sure.
they always ask you questions. And, you know, we've talked about this before. You have to have boundaries and make sure people knock on the door and all these kind of people don't barge in, you know. But I think it makes particularly women really uncomfortable. Like,
For
oh my God. And they're just like, okay, let's just get on with it. And so I think that is a big problem. I think, so I think you should have different kind of lengths. But what's the ideal length? Well, I think it's different for everyone.
Obviously, it depends.
I think some people really like the preamble, the bit towards
foreplay?
The foreplay. There you go, good word. And also, particularly, maybe a lot of women who find it quite difficult to orgasm, like a lot of preamble. And women who it's not so difficult, maybe need to just get to the thing.
Yeah, well, so I follow the sex educator woman. I think her name is Seema something.
Okay.
She's great on Instagram. And
I know. Is she Indian?
She's Indian. She's really fabulous.
Yeah.
And she talks a lot about
Indian
sex.
from India.
Indian from India.
Yeah.
Yes. And so I think one of her followers or whatever was saying after this shorter period of time, I'm actually finding sex really uncomfortable. And that there's like friction. And she was like, that's actually really normal. A lot of women only find that they can handle penetrative sex for like 5 minutes until there's like friction. And maybe you just need to lube up a little bit more. That's my personal opinion, is that like people just need to use more lube in general, because the pussy can't get all the wetness it needs, you know, from just itself. Like,
Thanks,
it needs a little bit of help.
Yeah, and it also depends on your age.
Of course.
Because obviously as you get older, there's issues of dryness and all that sort of stuff. I think the other thing is, it's interesting because I've mentioned this before, and I'm mentioning it again because it's going around social media. It's a clip of Amy Schumer on Call Somebody's Daddy, whatever that podcast
Call
is
her
called.
daddy.
Yeah. And she says, I've never had an orgasm from penetrative sex.
I saw that too.
We've discussed that.
Yeah.
It's very common. So I think that is also a thing, that if you don't, then it's like,
well, so
not
here's the thing. So if 𝐥𝐤𝐤 says that sex only lasts average from 7 to 13 minutes, but a woman doesn't orgasm until 15 to 20, why do we think that no women are having orgasms, right? It's because sex isn't lasting as long, and there's obviously no foreplay being had if you're only doing it for 7 to 13 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Like, women need more time to warm up, right?
100%.
To engorge the clitoris and all these other
engorge the clitoris. Wow.
You know, all these other technical terms. But yeah, women need a little bit of time to just like get things moving, get the blood going.
Yeah.
Men get hard by the wind, right?
Yes.
And
it's different.
It's so different.
I think it as men get older, that also changes in the sense that they need more stuff going on. But I think that is a big issue, and they're not really asking that question. If you like the penetrative bit, don't dislike the old, heave-ho, shunting in and out sort of thing.
Isn't that the penetrative bit? What are you talking about?
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
If you enjoy it, but you actually can't climax from it.
I love penetrative sex, but I've never come from only penetrative sex.
Right. But what I mean is, a lot of women have the foreplay.
Yeah.
Have the penetrative sex.
Yeah.
And they like it. They do not orgasm from it. It's got nothing to do with the length. They will never orgasm. They have to stimulate, fingers, toys, whatever it is.
Right.
Or they have to do something afterwards.
But while you're getting penetrated, you are hopefully also touching your clit.
I think a lot of women aren't.
Oh my God, so sad.
I mean, a lot.
Yeah.
And that's I would say a big piece of advice. Do that, or use a toy.
Oh my God.
Do it all. And, just get your partner on board. But I think...
How would your partner not be on board with you literally giving them a show of what you like? How could your partner not like that?
Well, look, if it was that easy, all these people wouldn't have
I think people are just very
problems.
shamed about it for not no reason, but like people are shamed from their own thoughts, and they're not actually shamed from anyone else. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So that's what's kind of hard about the whole thing, right?
I would agree with that.
Where it's like men don't, I mean, I don't know if they don't know. I think they just can't last, right?
No, 100%. They can't. And also, you know, they're like, you know, how long are we going to be doing this for?
Right.
For a lot of people, it's like, okay, you know, what's for dinner? You know, they're getting
Right.
bored. And like you said, it can be uncomfortable after a certain period of time.
Absolutely.
Which is why I do find, and I know you're going to hate this, the whole like Bonnie Blue thing,
Oh my
those porn stars,
God, yeah.
is how do you have 1,000 penises? And I mean, the pain. Anyway, I digress. But I think the answer is it's different. It's different for everyone.
Yeah.
It depends on what you need or what you enjoy or whatever. I think we've talked about this before. I think a lot of men particularly don't understand that women and we're not all built the same. We're all different.
Oh my God.
We're all variations.
Every single vulva, every single vagina is different.
It's different.
Just like all your penises, how are different.
Yeah, but they sort of generically function sort of in the same way.
That's true. That's true.
Whereas women have a lot of moving parts because it can, like I said, you know, some women actually do orgasm only from penetrative sex, not very many. And some women have to have lots of things and some women can do all of the above.
Yeah. And some women, even like one side of their labia will have more like nerve endings than the other side. It's like so interesting.
So that really is the thing. And I think there's also the fact that there's an article about it or multiple articles about it. There's a huge amount of pressure. Like I think ever since
to keep up.
Yeah, ever since Sting said in the 90s that he had sexathons with whatever his wife is called.
I don't know what this is.
Have you not this tantric sex? And they'd have sex for sort of 3 hours. Like tantric.
But that's like not penetrative sex for 3 hours.
I have no idea what
There's no way that's what that is, right?
Just
also, tantric sex is very cool. I've never had an actual experience with tantric sex, but I've heard amazing things because a lot of it is mind over body. So like your breath work, your like sensuality and stuff like that. There's no way you're having penetrative sex for 3 hours. I personally love a session, like a long sesh.
3 hours?
But not penetrative sesh.
3 hours?
No, I've never had sex for 3 hours, but I have had sex for like an hour and then you hang, like you chill and then you go back to it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But like, it's great to have like if you can and you have the time and you have the energy to like have a really long, amazing session of just like, and not just penetrative sex. That's not what just sex is. I think that's what a lot of people don't understand is that sex is not just penis and vagina.
No, it isn't.
But people are very confused by that, right?
They're very confused.
Like, you know, you have to, I'm sorry guys, but you have to eat your girls out. You have to.
No, some people don't
have
do that.
to lick her clitoris. And I will say that.
I am shocked by
you have to.
People don't do that.
You have to.
And
it's just like how you guys, men will, it's just like how men will be like, I need blowjobs.
Yeah.
It's the exact same for us.
100%. Yeah.
We need fingers. We need things going around.
Absolutely. And but it's this thing that I think there's just so much pressure. Yeah. So going back to the Sting thing is like, people are not people are bullshitting you. They are not having 3 hour or
but that's only because people
sessions.
Are thinking that penetrative sex is the only way to have sex.
Yes, and that actually that bit is kind of the end sort of crescendo bit, like all the other stuff. You should because you can't. It's not comfortable for women for a long period. For the whole. For the whole. That was funny. Very good pun.
Yeah.
But it's not comfortable for long periods of time for obvious reasons. The older you get, the worse that gets.
Oh yeah.
And for men, it's like that. You know, any man who can have staying power hasn't got that much staying power. I mean, come on, give me a
3 hours. That's a really long time.
Yeah.
But there is
or 1 hour just doing penetration, and that's ridiculous.
Well, no, I mean.
1 hour just doing penetration.
But there is that
1 hour of penetration
whole thing about
done.
We've I think we've had an episode on this where we talked about edging.
Yes.
And edging, which I'm assuming is what also Sting is doing, if we want to go back to the 90s. But edging is the best way to have a long, prolonged orgasm or a prolonged session, because if you're not allowing yourself to come and you're just building up the excitement about it together, you're also just kind of teasing each other, which is really fun, then of course you're going to be able to last a little bit longer than if you're just pounding it and then coming right away and then everyone's kind of left unsatisfied.
Yeah, I mean, very good point, Susie. But I do think it just depends for everyone. Depends what you enjoy.
Well, I think people just don't experiment either.
No, I don't think they do.
Right?
I don't think they do. I don't think you know, in the world and the way we live, people have the capacity, the bandwidth, the time, and it gets worse.
Yeah.
The longer you're into a relationship, you know, you're tired. Even if you don't have children, you're just tired. And you want to, like, you know, get to it. And I'm like, okay. And that is a problem, you know. And then Saturdays and Sundays, people just fill their time with too much other shit.
Yeah.
So then they don't have time. And life takes over. And it's not a good thing at all. And I think that, yeah, again, that people don't communicate, they don't talk to each other. So they don't talk about what they need or what works for them. It's surprising the amount of people that don't.
Yeah.
And then it's this thing we've talked about before, or people have told us about their stories where they don't talk about it at the beginning, that there's a problem.
And that
it
hurts
just
your relationship
keeps
so
going.
much.
Yeah.
It's so upsetting when, like, you get to a point where you think that you know and you like the person, but you've been faking your orgasms for a month.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, now how do you think that they
Yeah.
they don't know how to make you come?
Yeah. No,
And
absolutely.
I think we've just stopped being okay with the short time sex. Obviously, quickies, love a quickie, especially if the ladies are using toys. That's the only way I'm able to come in a quickie. It's, like, extremely hard for just anything else.
Yeah.
But, like, we just have to stop being okay with the fact that, like, 7 minutes is the norm. 7 minutes should not be the norm, right?
Yeah,
like,
but
of just sex.
It does involve two people where women tend to like more time because they need more. Men on the whole don't need more time. But you need a man who is interested in you, who's interested in making you
I'm
happy.
like, why are we having sex if that's not the case?
I think lots of people are having sex where
so upsetting.
where it's a single-minded thing. They're interested in their own thing that's going on, as opposed to how's the other person doing, so therefore it will be better.
Yeah.
I think that's a lot of people's case.
Yeah.
And then just, you know, the fact that we're talking about it is like, does it matter? Like, if you're having fun and you're enjoying, if it is 13 minutes and you're very happy and that works for you.
Oh, no, that's
and you have
great.
13 minutes once a week, 3 times a week, whatever it
Fabulous.
is. And that works and you're happy and it's really good, great.
Yeah.
You know, so it just doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The problem is obviously when one person isn't happy, which is what this article is about, which is probably what happens most of the time.
Yeah.
That one person is, like, not happy at all.
Yeah.
Not that they're not orgasming, they're just not happy. It's not enough. It's not, I think it's also a lot to do with it's not intimate enough.
100%.
There's not enough caring from the other person. And again, it's not about love.
Yeah.
It's about, it's
no.
very nice if there is love too.
Well, fuck it.
Very good. But it's about the other person being interested in you, taking the time. It's like anything in life. If somebody gives you their time, it means a lot.
How is this, like, this should be, like, you're saying this probably doesn't happen often. Like, how is this not happening often? So, like, when I was just from vacation, when I was with a gentleman, and
a gentleman
friend, and we had sex. I'll tell you a little secret. Okay, Mel? We had sex every day that I was there. And that was 4 weeks.
I'm sure you did.
Sex every day, at least 30 minutes long.
Every day. Yeah, okay.
And it was like, I've never had that time, obviously, where I could just literally come every fucking day. And it just does something to your personality, to your psyche, where you're just like, oh, this is what life is about. It sounds so ridiculous, but it's like, how are people living in any other way where sex is not this enjoyable?
Yeah, or that you kind of...
And I understand there's life that gets involved in all these things, but it's like, God, to give yourself that kind of gift of an orgasm.
Yeah, but I mean, there's several things obviously going on there. I'll be the doctor in this situation.
Yes.
Is number one, you were in another location.
Yeah.
And it's hot. So
great.
It's sexier.
Yeah.
2, you were in, like, between jobs. So your mind is not thinking about other stuff. And you're also in this you're in this vacation mood. So you're in a good mood.
Yeah.
And you're also in a place where there's not a lot of other stuff going on.
Yeah.
It's not like there's all these restaurants, all these shops, all these, I don't know, like whatever people do. It's not like you're in the middle of New York.
Yeah.
And you're doing stuff.
Yeah.
There's not a lot. There's a beach. There's the pool.
Yeah.
There's the 1 or 2 bars.
100%.
And then the sexy time.
No, yeah. I mean, like, I don't expect people to live their lives like this. But the fact that, like, if you, I'm not even saying, like, have sex every day. Like, that's unbelievable if you could even have sex every day for a week. Like, that is crazy.
Yeah.
But, like, if you are able to just give yourself the time that you need for 1 orgasm a day, or like 1 orgasm a week or something, where you're just like, your partner's giving that to you, you're giving that to yourself. I want to like overstate that, because I feel like women do not give themselves their own orgasms. We like rely way too much on a partner to do that for us. But like, just having the, like, I don't know, it's like that. It's like the self-love, which I hate that term, but like, it's that self-love where you like, you should be giving yourself, it's self-care. That's all it is.
I agree. And you know when men use these horrible expressions like, that woman just needs a good,
fucking.
Yeah. Thank you. You said it. Or like, in the sort of 19th century, they'd say women are sort of hysterical.
Oh yeah.
And it's true.
Yeah.
That women, particularly, and I saw, it was some funny comedian. Oh, it was a guy in England. Nobody knows, so it doesn't matter. And he was talking about how when he has sex, and it's like, oh, I've come, that's great, I feel really good, and that's it. Whereas women, it is more of a full
body experience.
Obviously, that's impossible for us to know, because I don't know what it's like for men.
Yeah.
But it's more of a full kind of release, is my understanding. You can let us know.
For women or for men?
For women.
Yeah, of course.
Like it's a full, like it goes
through your body.
Yeah, to the ends of your toes.
Yeah.
And so if you think about that, how much tension is in your body for that to be possible.
Right.
And so if you release it all the time, of course it's going to be good. And like you said, if you're going to let somebody take care of you, love you, whatever, for that period of time every day, of course that's a good thing. That could not possibly be a bad thing.
Yeah.
But I think that, as we all know, it's just very difficult in life. It's very difficult.
Oh my God, I can't.
The distractions.
I can't even imagine kids. Like, I find it hard to like have sex with my dog in the same place with me. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, like it's extremely
There are distractions.
Tough.
The other thing is, I know when you were staying there, I know there's some social life, but it's not like, I could be wrong, you're like going to a dinner you're not socializing.
Oh, no. Yeah.
You stay very much kind of
Absolutely.
in the villa or the house or whatever it is. And so that also, you're making your own entertainment, which obviously is a great thing. I just think it's, I think a lot of people think about this, and then the reality is it doesn't transpire. And I think, I do think generally the male mind is much better at going, fuck it, let's just do that. Like, forget about the washing, forget about dinner, forget about the thing you're supposed to be doing, just do this.
Yeah.
Men are very good at that. My husband's an absolute genius at that. But women find it very difficult, because they're thinking about, and it's annoying when you feel yourself doing it, thinking about, I've got to do this piece of work, I've got to do the washing, I've got to put that away, I've got to do that with the children, and your mind, and you're like, stop. But it's very, very, very hard.
Yeah, our brain doesn't turn off as easily as men
and then that is a huge turn off for men. Like, oh my God, who cares about the frigging dishes?
Yeah.
Which obviously don't matter. But in your mind as a woman, you're like, well, who's going to do it? The fairy?
Yeah, exactly.
This army of maids is going to come in. I've got to do it. So, but obviously if you let yourself go.
Yeah.
But I say this to you all the time, Susie, you're a very unusual person.
I know.
In many ways. And that you have this capacity to prioritize, to understand that about yourself, to be honest with you. I think most women, it takes a lifetime.
It's actually so funny. I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, why am I like this? Like, it's just the weirdest. It's the weirdest thing. I'm like, why did I turn out like this? And why do most people not turn out like this? Because I didn't have a ridiculous childhood. I'm not like super traumatized. I'm not. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's nothing in my life that I could be like, oh, pinpoint this. And it's not like I've been to therapy, so maybe they could. But I've just like, why do I turn out that I'm so comfortable with sex? I'm so happy to like give that part of myself to me, which is like it feels like it is almost my whole, not my whole world, but like it's such a big part of my life. And I put so much energy into it too, right? Like we, you know, you reap what you sow, right?
Absolutely.
And I think a lot about sex during the day, as I'm sure like a lot of people do, but a lot of women don't admit to doing that.
How many times a day?
I mean, I don't count how many times a day, but I think about sex a lot during the day.
Every hour.
Maybe every hour. But like it's a thought and then it goes away, right?
Most
Like
men, they say they think about it. It's less than that. It's more than that, isn't it?
I'm assuming it's more than that.
Yeah.
Obviously, it depends on the day too.
I mean, like the funny thing, like there's this sort of, you know, TikTok. You know, when everyone's doing the same thing. You know what I mean? Like not a fashion, like a thing.
Trend?
Yeah, trend. That's the word. It's been a long day.
So much.
It's a long day. And one of them is really funny, like, you know, like the man, you're in the kitchen and you're like putting the garbage away and you sort of bend over, or you brush by your husband.
Yeah.
And he gets
Smack
all...
ass.
No, it's not even that. Like you just happen to touch him and he gets all...
horned up.
Yeah. And I think it's funny. And I think it's a really nice trend. I don't think it's that common.
That what?
That, like, you brush by your husband or
you get horny?
Yeah. I think women would like it to be the trend.
Really?
But it isn't.
I
don't think so.
My friend actually sent this trend to me, and it was like this girl, and she was like, if women acted as their husbands do around the house, like, and so like, you know how like you're just like going about your day and your guy's just like grabbing your tits.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like grabbing your ass or whatever. And so it's like, obviously, like in this video, it's like the girl doing it to the guy. And I'm like, no, that's literally how I am all the time. Like if I have a man in my house, I'm grabbing his dick all the time. I'm grabbing his ass all the time.
You're like a man's dream.
I am.
You're a man's dream.
I'm like a habit.
It's like my husband always says to me, you know, because he is very like demonstrative, very like, you know, full on.
He loves you.
He does. And he's like, other women would love this, that their husbands
I think most women don't.
Well, I think we say we don't, but when they don't do it, we're like, what's going on?
Right. 100%.
And which is extremely confusing to men. You're just
100%.
like, well, I stopped doing it because you don't like it, but I want to be doing it. But then I'll start doing it again, then you'll complain.
Yeah.
And so you're like a man's dream.
I love being touched. I love touching my guy or whoever.
Well, I mean, that's
my friends even.
Your friend. You are very touching.
I'm like holding her foot right now. I know you guys can't see it.
You do. You're like, and I guess
that's like my connection piece.
Well, I guess that's how you connect to the world.
Yeah.
You need it.
Yeah, people are different that way.
But are your parents very cuddly and affectionate?
My mom is affectionate, but I wouldn't say she's like me affectionate. You know what I mean? Like,
because my parents are.
Oh, that's British though, isn't it?
Yeah, I think there's an extra fucking layer on top of them. But it's very, you know, yeah. And I don't, and I've talked about this before, and I won't go on about it because it's got nothing to do with this, but I don't have a good relationship with my mum. My mum would come towards me and like hug me, and I just don't want you in my aura.
Right.
So it's interesting what does that do to your brain and later in relationships and stuff like that? Like, you know, you can just get away from me.
Yeah.
So why have you become? I don't know.
I don't know why some people are super interested or like, you know, positive about sex or like, you know, sex positive. I don't know why people are like that. And some people are super, I mean, shame, obviously, like parents have a huge part in that. I'm assuming religion has a huge part in that. I'm assuming, but I always felt like super open with it. It's like a weird, thing.
You have a complete pathway to it. You have nothing in
no
the
filter.
way.
Yeah,
exactly. And that's very interesting because a lot of people, and it's got nothing to do with age. And our whole podcast is about the fact that we're different ages. And I don't think it has anything to do with age because I've seen many young people who are very hung up and wound up about sex or talking about, or just being, you know, comfortable around anything to do with that. So I don't think it's necessarily age, it's the person, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that you just don't have this kind of,
it's like your brain neurons are completely like fixed in one way.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And they're just like the pathways are all there.
Yeah.
But then my pathways for math are just like dwindling.
There's nothing
there's sparks happening and nothing's actually going on. But a vulva I know. A dick and balls.
Completely dick and balls connected to that. But going back to the original
See what we're talking about?
Yeah, you see,
length of time.
She's back on thinking about balls. Is that how long it should be?
Yeah,
and obviously for you, it's
depending
long.
on the person.
And so that is a good point. So for you like touch.
You're right. I'm foreplaying all day long.
Some people don't.
Right.
I mean, I know that's not that they don't. They just don't need it in quite the quantity you need it.
100. And if you need it, if everyone needed it as much as I needed it, honestly, we'd have a more peaceful.
Would we get anything done?
No, we'd have a more peaceful Earth.
That's true. We wouldn't have any war.
If everyone was having sex regularly and having orgasms regularly, we would have such a better time.
Do you think all the leaders of the world need to? That's the problem.
They all need to get fucked, literally.
No. Well, I think some of them are. It's just who they're getting fucked by, but is the question. But yeah. I mean, look, I completely agree with you. I just think it's actually for you. It's very easy. Yeah. I think for the mass, it is not easy. Otherwise, there wouldn't be articles about 7 to 13. I mean, it's ridiculous, inane. 7 to 13 minutes.
What the fuck does that even mean?
How many seconds or whatever it is? Is it because also people are in long-term relationships and they're not sort of that attracted to each other, so they just want to get it over and done? Bish bosh, let's get it done.
Well, I know my last relationship, it was not this. I wasn't doing it every day. I wasn't doing it for an hour at a time every day. I wasn't having this many orgasms.
Getting over and done with.
Yeah, because you kind of have to. You have to do stuff to keep the relationship going. I completely know what that's like.
Yeah.
It's just to kind of get yourself in another mindset of being like, I have to give it to myself.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
This is my responsibility. This is just like I do my facials, I take off my makeup every day, I have my orgasm.
I honestly, I agree with you.
Does that feel good? Wouldn't that be nice?
Does it feel good for me to agree with you?
No, I think
you're right. You're right.
It feels so good when Mel says that.
The other thing is, like, you think about how much time. So much time you spend like doing stupid shit, like scrolling, whatever you scroll.
You could be having an orgasm that time.
It could be having half an hour in wherever. Lock yourself away.
I've just thought about sex 50 times in this amount of sex.
I bet you have 50.
Like, how long have I been speaking for?
But the thing is, you also were in a place where you were not like lots of other people around. That does help, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, of course.
There's
so many factors in this.
Help. Like you're not going to get disturbed. You're not worried. You're not tense.
Can I tell? And like we're in Canada, so this is very legal. And I will say this: if you guys are able to smoke a little joint of legal weed, very legal marijuana, it does and depends on the strain. And you can, if it's legal, you can go to a little store and you can ask the people about it. There are amazing strains of marijuana that you can get that will help your orgasm and that will make you last longer, and it will blow your fucking mind. I will just tell you that.
But also just relax you.
Exactly.
To get to a place where, like you said, you can allow yourself to do it.
100%.
And stop thinking about the washing and the whatever you're thinking about in your head. Stupid shit like I've got to do this spreadsheet in the morning or whatever you're worried about. It's hard to do that. I think it's really hard. And if you're in a setting, so I mean, maybe that's the answer, is that not everyone obviously can go and spend a month in the Bahamas. We're not all Susie Schechter.
Sorry.
But what you can do is kind of in your life, the regular life, you do as much as you can, as it were. And then when you go on vacation, again, without children preferably.
I know, right?
You have time and you just allow yourself, I think that's a very good word, allow yourself to have some time and just stop worrying about the stupid little shit in life.
Yeah.
Don't worry about what anybody else thinks.
Love that.
Worry about the person you're with.
Love that.
Yeah, do you like that?
Very sweet. And don't forget to communicate about what you want and your needs. I know Mel loves a communication station.
I know.
She
For a
loves
British
it.
person, I'm very
That's
into
very
communication.
good.
Yeah.
But yeah, just make sure you're communicating about your actual pleasure needs. It's very important.
Pleasure needs.
It up.
I love keep it up.
Keep it up. Okay, we'll end it there, I think.
Yeah. That's enough.
That's enough.
We need a glass of wine.
God, we fucking do. Love you guys so much. If you guys have anything to say about this, maybe you have had an amazing session like I have, or maybe you like to keep it short and sweet. Let us know at sharemytruth.com. We're going to Share My Truth Pod. Love ya. Bye. Sharing My Truth Pod is so excited to partner with Vibrator.com, where the A in vibrator is the number 8. This is an extremely exclusive code where no other podcast has it. If you go to Vibrator.com right now, use the code MS15, that's MS15 at Vibrator.com. You can now get 15% off anything in store. That's any sex toys for you, your partner, your neighbor, your mom. We don't judge. We don't care. Get it now. Go to the link in our bio, put in the code, and get jiggy with it.
Thanks so much for listening. Please rate and review this podcast and follow us on social at Sharing My Truth Pod, and leave us a voicemail on our website, sharingmytruth.com, to share your stories and experiences with us. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.